So you spent around 80 to 95 lakhs.
I started my startups like during my college life. Also, I started my startups.
$100,000. Yeah, more than $100,000.
Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Today we'll get to know what it takes to be a backend developer. We are in conversation with Mr. Arvind Sarin and Mr. Harsh Garg. Arvind is an Indian American. He is also the CEO and chairman of Copper Mobile. He has collectively generated a revenue of about $43 million. And what's even more enthralling about him is that he's also a content creator. Harsh is a backend developer. His main expertise are MERN, AWS and Python. What's interesting about him is that he has previously co-founded 4 startups which were into EV and IT. And it does not stop there. He was also a food blogger. So let's see what these two have in store for us for today. So over to you guys.
Welcome everyone. We are here with Harsh, and Harsh is amazing. He's one of our backend developers, and we want to bring you this video podcast where we're going to be recording inspiring stories from all of our employees, and the purpose is to help you imagine what it took and what the journey was to actually get to this point, and how you could become a developer like Harsh. So with that, Harsh, when did you first think that you wanted to be a developer?
Actually from my schooling, I have an interest in coding. From starting, I just do coding C, C++, because that time C and C++ were at the boom. So yes, after that, when I joined college, I do some practical projects, also some freelancing projects during my college life. And that time I developed my
So how old were you?
That time I was 16-year-old boy.
And again, how did you develop that interest? How did you discover coding as such?
Actually, one of my cousin is in the IT field.
They were like the inspiration, right? When you were a teenager, I think at that time as well, there was a lot of development tools and there were a lot of these opportunities to learn. So where did you learn coding?
I learned coding from YouTube, I guess. YouTube, Udemy, and I also take help from my cousin too in the coding, yes.
And then, okay, so you're coding, but you're going to school as well at that time.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you graduated from high school, then did you go to get your undergraduate degree?
Yes.
Where did you go?
I go to Northern Indian College, that is come under IP University at Kashmiri Ke, Delhi.
So you get into engineering and you're still learning coding.
Yes.
What did you get your engineering in?
In Tripoli.
Okay, so you actually did electrical engineering, but you were still learning to code?
Yes, because in that too we also need a sort of coding, because in that thing we also train Arduino, Node MCU. So to train or to embed some code in that microcontrollers, we need some coding. So yes, I learned coding because coding is just my passion, I can say. I have to learn from my childhood because I started coding when I was 16-year-old.
Got it. Well, wonderful. I'm also an electrical engineer, by the way. So, and then what did you do when you graduated from the college?
I started my startups, like during my college life also I started my startups. And after the college, I also started some startups in EV, trained unskilled laborers, in e-commerce, and IT business too, because I have an interest in coding. So yes, I also have interest.
So that's a lot of startups. How many startups have you done so far?
4.
Amazing. What was the first one that you did?
The first one is an e-commerce startup that I started in my college life during my first year. This for the college faculties and for the students and the teachers.
Did you make any money through that?
Yes.
How much?
I ran that business for around 4 to 5 months, and the revenue from that business is around 4 to 5 lakhs.
4 to 5 lakhs. That's good. That's good. I mean, at that time during college, that's a lot of money. But okay, so you had your first startup, you made some money, and then what happens next? You do your second startup straight?
Yes. I started my second startup in parallel with my e-commerce startup. During my college life, I do an internship in my second year. So I see that there is a little bit need of skilled labor in other companies, like in the manufacturing firms, in IT field too. We need a skilled labor, but we don't have. So I go to homeless people and train them for a particular skill. Like I placed several people in the solar industry, in mobile industry too.
What was it that actually pushed you to go and approach some homeless people and then have a conversation with them and train them. Why did you do that, and what made you do that?
Because I want to do something for the community, and I think they are the needful people who need some help from other guys. So I just help them for the job.
You're very kind, and kudos for that. Good job. And then did you make money doing that?
Yes.
How much?
I earn around 80,000 from that business too.
Got it. So you got over it, and you helped. You did your part for the community, and now you were ready for your next startup.
Yes.
What was your next startup?
My next startup is an IT startup, and in the IT startup, I completed around 10 to 15 projects that are all for international clients, and I make a lot of money from that too.
Nice.
And put my all money in my last startup, that is the EV.
So hold on a second. So this is the third startup that you already did, and you did this while you were still at your college.
Yes.
Okay. And this was an IT services company.
Exactly.
Where you would look for prospects outside of India.
Yes.
Is there a reason why outside of India?
Not a particular reason, but yes, we can earn in dollars.
Right. So dollars. I mean, you could say, hey, that's why we have our company, and we like to have our primary market as the US. Obviously, US has that culture of innovation and trying new products, and there's always this project or the other. And also the ease of business. So we're not going to get into those advantages, but sure, for some of those reasons, you bagged 15 different clients and made boatloads of money. How much money?
I can say between 20 lakh to 50 lakhs.
Okay, so you made between 20 to 50, somewhere in that ballpark. Then you were done with your third startup. Why did you stop doing that?
Because of lack of team members, I can say, because we can start our business not by going alone. We need a team to start our business, to do something.
And there's a famous saying from Jeff Sutherland in his book, Getting Twice the Amount of Work Done in Half the Time. And he talks about, like, if you give me one person and ask me to change the performance of that person, I cannot guarantee. But if you give me a team, then of course they can touch new heights, and you could, get that next level performance. So yeah, that's good. You learned some valuable lessons in your third startup, but it was time, and then you were like, okay, this is not working. I'm left by myself here. And then you wanted to go to the next startup, your final startup.
Yes.
What was that?
The startup was in electrical vehicles, like Tesla, we can say. We are building our own electrical vehicle, because that time the Make in India was at boom, just started. So we also want to start something that is built in India, like everything built in India, right? Like motor, battery, chassis, everything was built in India.
Wow, that sounds like a huge initiative. So how far did you succeed in that goal?
We completed everything. Just we want to assemble our parts, because that is a harder business. We have to assemble everything. But then COVID hit. We are not able to open our factory. So we just stopped there. Not able to import export some microprocessor from Japan. So that time, yes, we had to stop that business because we're just spending money. We're not getting anything, and my partners, I can say my team members, are also frustrated because of this. They got a job in a different companies, in a good companies, so they just left me out, and again I was left alone.
And then when that happened, by that time, how much money had you invested by that time? How much money did you put into that startup?
I got a fund from the Indian government. It is of 25 lakhs under the Nidhi scheme of Indian government, and I spent around 80 to 95 lakh, I guess, in the EV startup.
Wow. So you spent around 80 to 95 lakhs, $100,000. Yeah, more than $100,000. And then what happens next?
Next, the pressure came, the parents' pressure. They have some expectation from me. Like they want to do something. Like my father owns a business, so they want me to join their business if something is not happening. But I wanted to start my own. So I joined a company. I started working as a backend developer. I joined Copper Mobile as a backend developer after that.
What was going through your mind when that other startup did not work? I mean, anything you share, of course, I know that a lot of our viewers may have had some similar experiences when you really give it your all and you try really hard, but still, for some reason or the other, the result may not come. Then how did you feel after that?
At that time, I was completely depressed, but I want to start something. I don't want to waste my time in depression. I want to start my own something, to do something. I'm the type of guy who just sit in a corner and just cry. No, I just want to buckle up and start new things. So yes, after the startup, I joined. I started again. I want to start a fifth, but that was not the time to start.
What was the startup about, the fifth one?
Fifth startup again is in the IT, because IT is my passion.
Right.
I want to start that, build a team to start new things in the product, not in service. I can say in the product side.
In that failure, what made you get up again and try something, and what were the options that you faced?
I can say after all the failures, my parents tell me to join their business. My father owns a factory in Delhi, so they want me to join their business. But I don't want to join a factory. I don't want to join a family business at that time. I want to start my own things. So the first thing I have the family business. Second thing to join a company, and the third thing to start again. But that time I was not in that condition to start a new business again, because not that time I was not that much financially capable, because I spent $100,000 in the AV startup. I want the family help, I can say, because I just want to put pressure on the parents, because that time I was 22 year old. I don't want to bother my parents. So the best decision for me is to join a company.
Got it. So a little bit middle of the road. You're not taking too much risk, but you're also not just joining your dad's business. So you did not make that easiest choice, but you also did not want to burn the candle at both ends. But tell me, what is it genuinely that you have now achieved by going back and working as an employee for a startup?
I'm following my passion. Right here in the Copper Mobile, I'm doing coding, so I don't have any issues I want to start my own startup or not, because here at Copper Mobile, I'm working towards my passion, towards my dream.
And the final question I would ask is there any advice that you'd like to offer to somebody in the audience who is watching you and maybe their startup's not going well, or there may be some other challenge, and they would like some advice from you, something that helped you during that time to continue to go on and not stop? What would that advice be?
Never give up, follow your dream. Always see a goal that you want to achieve. Don't see the path, I can say, because a path is full of hurdles. You have to just see the last goal that you have to accomplish. So yes, never give up.
Wow, that's awesome. I can't believe you're 23 years old. That's great. Well, thank you, everyone. This is where we end our video podcast. If you liked it and if it inspired you, then please leave a comment. It's going to be very encouraging for us, and especially for Harsh. And so we can continue to get more of these interviews from other employees that we have, and they can share their unique journey. And hopefully along the way, we could inspire a few people, and that's going to be really fulfilling for us. So thank you, and until next time, goodbye.